Hi, hello. My name is Aaron Richards, and this is my Blackjack review, or code review, I should say. Um, I have most of the program inside of a do while loop so that the game can go on until the player says that they would not like to play, and I implement that through a Boolean of play again. Inside of that loop, I have a for loop, which runs for as long as you have it's less than or equal to the number that the user implements for hands. So that the way that I envision playing this game, as 21 is one of my favorite games to play, is I wanted the game to be able to ask the user how many hands they would like to play, and then after those hands are done, if they would like to play another game. So you could play different numbers of hands, but it would still be a singular game. Part of the reason I did that was it was very easy for me to test that way. I could just either play one hand and see if stuff worked, or I could play multiple hands and make sure it was working properly. And that was very flexible for me, which I really enjoyed. Um, I used arrays to keep track of the um, number of times the player or the dealer had won a hand. Part of that was I wasn't thinking about, I couldn't recall how to have a method output something without a return, uh, which we later did in the next lab in lab 7. So that was kind of a great refresher. But that was my workaround, was using arrays to update the data from anywhere in the code. Um, so let me. Where the frick did that go? Okay, that's still there. I lost my recording window real quick. Okay. Anyway, back to this. So uh, we initialize the play again bool. Um, let's play the game of blackjack. Then we have all the variables down here being created. Part of the reason I created them here is so that if they were out here, I would have to somehow reset them, and I didn't want to deal with that. I would just have them reinitialize every single time the game would play. And then users prompted how many hands would they like to play. So then I create an integer called int hands, and then I use a method called get hands to get that number. And that is all the way down here. Int hands equals 0, bool is number equals false. It's just a simple valuation loop to make sure that it is the number that is being put in. Then it puts that back out. Goes through the for each loop, where I create a new deck. The reason I create a deck inside of the for loop is generally after each hand of blackjack, you're supposed to shuffle, and I was having a hard time figuring out how to just take the cards that were in the player hand and the dealer hand and putting them back into the deck. So I just reinitialized the deck every time, because that was the simplest way to make sure that you always had the maximum number of cards in a deck to be able to play with. And so every single game would have the same amount of chance. So initialize the deck, shuffle the deck, then give each entity their hand. And then I have two methods, user play and comp play, and they each do different things. So we're down here to user play. Bool play equals true. So while that is true, it will tell you the hand and it will tell you your score in case the user does not implicitly know how the rules of blackjack work. It shows them the score and kind of lets them know, hey, this is the values that you have currently, so that you don't accidentally bust. And then if play is true, um, so then there's there's the play equals true down here, and that calls a method called get hit or stand. Go up here. Never mind, go down here. It's been a while since I looked at this. Would you like to hit or stand? So then, after the user's prompted for that, we put the answer into the variable input, and then I take that input and I put it to lower. So previously what I had done in a lot of my programs was I right here would use capitalization in front of my words to make sure that, hey, I am looking for an answer that's capitalized. But ever since our Pig Latin lab, I try to use to lower now to make sure that if they enter it capitalized or if they enter it lowercase, it would all kind of equal the same thing in the end, and it would all validate for that in the end. And then based on whatever the answer ends up being, it would either return true or it would return false. Based off of that, it would either add a card to the hand, or it would just kind of play out, just end the turn. It would automatically end the turn if the player is busted. Attribute would equal true. After the user plays, it would go to the comp play, and comp play is really easy. Dealer dot add card while the score is less than or equal to 16, and that was a very, very simple method. Go back to the main. It would tell the player score, dealer score, and then we would go down to get score, and it would calculate the message of either you win, you tied, or the dealer wins. And then after that, you console.read key, just kind of give the program a minute to stop, let the player catch up, press enter, go down to here, tell the number of hands won for the player, number of hands won for the dealer, and then it would call the method get play again, which would, gotta find that now, figure out if the player would like to play another game. And it would also took a what's the word? Use the same kind of logic that I did with the other string-based inputs of converting it to lower to make sure that no matter if it was lowercase or uppercase, it would still give the same output. So let's play a quick example game. Let's play a game of blackjack. How many hands would you like to play? Enter the number of hands. I generally like to play 3. So then it shows us what's in our hand and the score of that. I'm going to click hit. 17, that's... I'm going to click hit. No, I'm going to click stand. And notice that for the hit, I use capitalized. For the stand, I use lower. And I still worked, taking advantage of the to lower function. We got a 19. I'm going to stand. And we tied again. That tends to happen a lot. Let's hit. Stand. And then we win because the dealer busted. And then would we like to play another game, yes or no? I'm going to put no. And then program ends. And that is my blackjack game. Thank you for watching.